ever woken up full of confidence and motivation and felt like giving up maybe 2 hours later? It's not unusual. It happens to even the most motivated people. But why? How is it that one minute you feel like you can crush the world and the next minute you're not sure you have any skills whatsoever? Well, blame it on your brain, or at least the self-talk that takes place in your brain. Your brain craves comfort and safety, and as a result, when it feels like you're getting too far out of your comfort zone, that negative self-talk is a way to rein you back in. The trick is to recognize what your brain is attempting to do and then use some simple strategies to shut the self-talk down. So ask yourself if you've ever said any of these things. You are fine where you are. Oftentimes, this is the very first lie that your brain will say to keep you from striving for greatness. And from here, it continues with things like, you should be grateful for what you have, or you don't really need anything else. I mean, after all, there's people who are far less fortunate than you. Yada, yada, yada. Don't fall for this one. The key to happiness is growth, and growing in skills and knowledge is what keeps you fresh and young and contributing to society. Can you imagine if everyone just stayed complacent? We wouldn't have half the technology or luxuries that we live with every single day in our lives. I mean, heck, we'd still be riding around in a horse and buggy. The truth is, you aren't fine where you are. The greatest thing about human beings is that they always strive to be better, and that is a trait to be honored and valued. So remember, you can be grateful for what you have while still wanting more. The desire for more doesn't make you greedy. In fact, it's the exact opposite. When you get more, you give more. So by striving to be better, you are actually helping mankind. The next statement that your brain might say is, well, you're doing better than everyone else. And when you start saying this to yourself, you're in comparison zone. It's kind of that at leaster zone. At least I don't have it worse than someone else. And comparing yourself to others is never a great idea. And mainly it's because everyone has a different set of skills, experience, and mindset. So when you do a comparison, it's never apples to apples. The person that is where you want to be has already gone through all the failures and the fears and the lack of motivation that you may be experiencing now. So don't compare yourself to anyone but yourself. If you are growing and striving, you will always do better than you were the day before, and that means you're successful every single day. Then your self-talk could go to something that sounds like, you suck. When nothing else is working to get you to veg out and go back into your comfort mode, your self-talk turns harsh and blunt. I mean, what an awful thing to say to yourself. Would you actually say that to someone you love? I don't think so. The main way to overcome this is to realize your brain is lying to you. The fact is, it simply isn't true. You don't suck. You may not be perfect, but you don't suck. So when you recognize the lie, you've got to tell your brain to shut up. Tell it to stop talking to you. And if that doesn't work, take a journey through your mind and write out all of the successes you've had in your life. There are tons of them. Whether it's the great kids you have raised, or a promotion you had a couple of years ago, or your ability to make or even drink a great martini, you are successful and you will continue to be successful. So don't listen to anyone that says you suck, especially yourself. Another thing your brain might say is you aren't disciplined enough or focused enough or smart enough. And the interesting thing about that is that for some reason, people believe you need to be stellar in every single area of your life in order to be successful. And when you look at mentors and other people that you might look up to, there's a false belief that they have it all, that they're disciplined and focused and smart, and they have a never-ending supply of willpower. And the reality is none of that is true. No human being has a perfect set of skills or beliefs. So many people are undisciplined, yet they find a trap to get themselves to be disciplined for a short period of time, because you don't have to be disciplined all the time. So don't worry about what you aren't, just focus on what you are. You have intrinsic strengths that other people don't, and you've got to use those first and then recognize your weaknesses and either find a partner that can make up for those weaknesses or set a trap so you don't fall victim to your weaknesses as often. For example, sometimes I am far too creative for my own good. And that sounds stupid, but the problem with that is that I have a ton of ideas and I want to execute on all of them all the time. And of course, what that does is that creates a lot of good starts, but not as many finishes. So my trap, I use an idea evaluator. It's a litmus test for every quote unquote genius attack that I have. And it's a series of 19 questions that I've got to ask in order to vet each of my great ideas. If the idea passes the test, I can determine a time frame for executing it. If it doesn't, it gets thrown out. Another thing that you might say to yourself is, you don't deserve it. Now, I'm not sure what or who determines whether someone deserves something or not, but I believe if you're a human being, you deserve happiness and success. End of story. There is nothing you have to do or be to deserve something good in life. You don't have to be smart or good looking or give money to charity to deserve a great life. And even if you've done something bad, you still deserve good things in your life. Everyone loves a comeback story, right? So give yourself a break and start journaling all of the reasons you deserve the best, because there are so many. Now, the interesting thing is that despite how unique each and every one of us is, we all have similar self-talk. We all have days when our confidence dips and nothing seems to be going the right way. But for every self-doubt, there is an equal and opposite way of thinking. And if your negative self-talk won't shut up, then a key thing to do is change your surroundings. Sometimes something as simple as getting into a different area, going outside, sitting in your car, walking down the street, it can give you a change of perspective and help you to realize that your brain is using all of the standard lies that it normally does to get you to stay small. And the reality is, you aren't meant to be small. You are meant to live life large, and when it comes to negative self-talk, your brain just isn't that creative. It tells you the same stupid lies over and over again, and it's the lies it's telling you, it's telling me as well. So remember that rhyme from elementary school. Liar, liar, pants on fire, hanging from the telephone wire. Remember that one? You know the truth. So even when it seems hidden under a layer of self-doubt, the truth is you were born to thrive, so stop listening to your own lies. And in the meantime, of course, laugh a lot and learn a lot.